Hey, it's Del Jackson. We got a special Zoom guest today, Coach Gene Lambert from Octorara, win number 300. And not only that, but we're just going to talk about his philosophy and hoops and all that good stuff. So you got a tree behind you there, Gene. Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
How's it
yes,
going, buddy?
it's going well, Dell. Thank you very much for having me. I wanted to show everyone that I was in the Christmas spirit, you know?
Well, I don't even know if Santa Claus brought you an early gift, but you guys took care of business the other day. Let's just talk about that 300th game. Your thoughts going in. I know from a coaching point of view and a media point of view, there was some build up to that game, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's good or not. So, what were your thoughts going in?
So, obviously, Dale, when you've coached as long as we have been around the game, you've seen many different things, and like you said, you don't want to put any added pressure on the kids. You don't want to make it seem like, oh, if we don't win this game, oh my gosh. And I really didn't even talk about it.
Mhm.
Didn't talk about it to the kids. I knew they knew. I knew they knew. I knew their parents knew. I knew all my former players knew. I knew everyone knew, but I wanted them to know that I was more concerned about us playing well against Schuylkill Valley than me getting my 300th win as a coach. You know, so the only time I mentioned it actually was before the game when we were in the locker room. I said, everybody knows what this is. I said, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the people that come to watch us tonight enjoy how we play.
Very, very well spoken. I know you so well, big guy, and I know how you deal with things, and that was pretty cool. So, all right, so not a lot of everybody kind of knew, not a lot of emphasis on the 300, but yet then it happened. So let's talk about when it happened. What your thought process is like? Okay,
Uh,
I know it's happening. I know they got this banner. I know they got this ball. It's like what real early after that win. I mean, looking at the score, you knew you were going to win in the middle of the fourth quarter. There wasn't any there was
yeah.
no doubt it wasn't a buzzer beater type of thing and everybody going crazy. So just give me some of your thoughts around that moment.
So around that time, probably around 3 minutes, 4 minutes left in the fourth, we're looking to try and get the subs in, that haven't played much at all. I mean, obviously there were kids that played, but the ones that didn't play much at all. And, around that time, I started thinking, wow, looking around the crowd, seeing former players, guys that have played and just, ones that started with me when we were 1 and 21 or 2 and 21, you know, guys that were around me when we won district championships, looking at my staff and how we've all been together for 20 years, you know what I mean? And just feeling very, very blessed. I will say the word blessed, because as well as I do, when you coach basketball, you know, you're not just coaching basketball, or when you coach anything, you're not just coaching anything, you're coaching, you're coaching people, you're coaching personalities, you're coaching parents, you're coaching, even cultures. You know what I mean? You're trying to change cultures, you're trying to change people, you're trying to, to get them to understand that my way is the way that I believe is going to work best for us.
Mhm.
It's not the end all and be all way of things, but it's the way that you feel is what best works for all of us.
Yeah, cool. Hey, we have, you guys joined the LL, I don't know, a couple years ago. It hasn't been long. How many years? Four,
Uh, yeah,
five?
I think 4 or 5. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have experience in a different league and in this LL league. So tell me from your perspective the differences between the leagues. I mean, you have a unique ability to draw from coaches in District 1, District 3, Harrisburg. You,
Yeah.
you seem to have so many connections, Gene. So just give me your thoughts about the differences of the league. First of all, let's just talk about the
Um,
league.
being in the Lancaster Lebanon League is something that is a very I always looked at that coming from Chester County to Lancaster County. You know, I remember coming to watch the big games, McCaskey, Manheim Township, just as a fan. You know, McCaskey, Hempfield. You know, when I was younger, you know, just driving to gyms and they were packed houses because the games were so important to those communities, and everybody wanted to back those kids up. Um, that still happens,
Mhm.
you know, in this league, you know, which is rare. You know, I think that that is a great thing, but it's rare. You know, in the Chester County, Philadelphia area. You know, and that's what makes this league special. Um, our LL playoffs, to me, are second to none. You know, it's a build up. Everybody wants to make it. You know, and you always feel as though you got a chance until you don't.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You feel like you got a chance until you don't. You know, no matter what section you're in. You know, your goal. You know, it kind of sets your season up. You know, your first goal is, you know, to do well in your non-league games. You know what I mean, at the beginning of the season. And then your second goal is to try and finish in the top two of the league of your section. And then after that, you want to finish one because you don't want to have to travel anywhere to play somebody that's a lot bigger school than you are. That's from my view. That's from my standpoint, you know. Um, so then, you know, and then you start talking about districts, you know. So it's been good to be a part of this and understand how it works. You know, I admire all the guys that have been coaching in this league for a long time because it's I know that it's been exciting for them, you
Mhm.
know. And in the Chessmont, there's not as many teams, so the playoffs are a Final Four, and you know they play on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, and that's a little different, you know, because the non-league games are on Saturdays, and you know being here with the Tuesday Friday, I think it's fantastic.
Nice.
Um, you know, uh, I just think that as a high school student, I just remember playing on Friday nights and remembering how enjoyable that was, and
Yeah.
it happens here in the Lancaster Lebanon League.
Yeah. Friday nights are pretty special. They really
Yes,
they really
yes,
are.
yes,
It gets
yes.
people in the stands. The Tuesday games aren't quite as much, but Fridays are a pretty big deal, I think. And then I don't know, we cover a lot of games, and it's interesting because December there's a lot of other things going on in December, you know what I mean? And then January people start dialing in and going to
Oh yeah.
games and coming to LO hoops and all that stuff. So
Yep, and start, you know, learning who's where and who's in placement. What you know, what place are you in your section and your division? Who's beat who, and you know all those things.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of that, we are at least for most teams, Gene, we're at least a third of the way in because of the PIAA constraints of playing 22 games and the championships and all that stuff. It used to be we played 24 and league playoffs didn't count and all that, but um, we're we're a third of the way in. So you guys have lost one game, and of course I saw that game.
Yeah, yeah. I'll blame it on you, Dale. How about that? I'll,
you know,
I'll,
every
I'll,
time I
I'll blame it on you. I'll blame it on you and Wilson. How about that?
oh, gee, every time I go to a game and somebody loses, that's what I get the next day. I was up at Cedar Crest the other day. They won by 40, and they're like, "Well, I guess we can't blame this one on you." I said, "No, I don't shoot a ball. I don't do anything. I just watch. That's all I do. I
Yeah, you
watch."
know, it's just you in
Funny.
the building, Dale. You in the building. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We were glad to have you. We just wish we would have put on a better show for you.
So let's talk districts because obviously you're keyed in a little bit. So you guys are 4A, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so who are the big players in the 4A this year in District 3? I think I saw one of them the other day.
Yeah, you did. I saw them too. I wish I had a different look at them, but First Catholic definitely is I think the class of 4A right now. Fleetwood is ahead of us. I mean, right now, if you look, we're number three.
Okay.
Okay, and it's Berks Catholic one, Fleetwood two, and we're number three. And we actually are going to the Fleetwood Christmas tournament this next week. So we could match up with them next week, which would
That's
be an interesting test to see where we are.
Yeah. Well, and that's good because if you're playing some of these teams we're into later on, you're going to make adjustments. They're going to make adjustments, and it's not going to be that shock value. And sometimes that happens, as you know, in a district game. It's like, wait, the game's being called different, the play's a little bit different.
Yep.
Maybe it's
Yep.
a little more physical. I just thought when I saw you guys against Berks, I just thought their defense was really, really good. And I know they put a lot of points up, but I think they really limited you guys on the offensive end. And that gave up some runouts and they got up and then they just kept it going.
Well, it's hard to run an offense from half court. And that's where we were trying to run it from, Dale. That's what they did to us. So I know that if we play them again, my first note is do not run offense from half court. Move a little closer to the basket. That might help you. That's note number one.
Okay. Well, maybe it's practicing your 35 to 40 footers, Curry style, if you're not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
basket, you gotta do something. Oh, that's funny. That's
yeah.
good. Let's talk about your section a little bit. So
Okay.
you guys are doing well. I mean, I look at it like LS is pretty good. Andy's liking Cacalico. So maybe Section 3's got a little juice this year as opposed to years in past. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you look at our section, Northern Lebanon, coach does a nice job there. He works with what he has every year, and those kids fight and battle. I always hope for him and hope for them that they can jump up and beat somebody, not us, but somebody, And then you got Elko, and those kids play hard and they're strong kids. And, they're not out here just to let people beat them.
Right.
They battle, Calico, they were missing football players earlier, but now they're back. So, I mean, I would say that they have all the size in the league, in our section, at least in our section, So that's a problem for everyone, LS is LS, we beat them last year. And, I'm not saying I thought I had the puzzle figured out, but I'm saying that I thought I had a chance to beat them twice. And we go there and they did a nice job and they took it away from us, And then you have Donegal, who's the wild card. Those kids play hard and they're doing what Coach Shipper wants them to do. And if they come out and knock down shots, it's going to be a long night for you. So our section is very up in the air right now. I couldn't tell you who a front runner is. I mean, obviously it's LS because they won it last year, but they're not the same team that they were last year. Graduation affects everyone. I lost 9 seniors. Yeah. And I've got a bunch. I'm starting 2 sophomores. So our youth is definitely being served. You know what I mean? But I think we have skill. There's a difference between youth and youth that has skill, and I believe in our youth. So and with Zach Kirk being there, as the anchor, because when you have young players, it's always nice to have a senior or two like him and Shane Aldhouse out on the floor that can protect the young kids to where they don't have to do everything. So that's what leads me to think that we'll have some success.
Yeah, I saw Elko twice, and they sent me a roster of 15 guys, and it says guard, 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 and I watch them, and I'm like, I don't know, they got some guys that don't look like guards to me, but they are guard oriented. There's just
Yes.
no doubt about that. Same way with Donegal. Donegal's a 3-point shooting team, and when they're hot, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
And LS, Gene, man, I don't know. They play like like crazy guys. They're all over the place. They're diving on the floor, and I saw them in summer, and I was like, whoa, kids usually don't play like that in the summer, but they have some culture going. And I saw them against Hempfield, and the Smucker kid. He's pretty special. I mean, he's only a junior, so there's another top flight guard. So I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think your section's gonna be good, and I think Ella Hoops, without jinxing, you might have to go to a different gym, to catch you guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that night even the backboards weren't enough for
Oh,
Berks Catholic to mess them up.
oh,
But yeah, no, I just think that LS, as you said, and has built a culture there, that is of winning. And those kids, no matter when they come and what age they are, they believe that they can win, and that's what we all want. That's what we all want. So kudos to them. I know their youth program is very successful, and it's good. Um, because that's where they start the belief at.
sure, sure. Let's shift gears again. I know you do a lot for basketball, Gene, and some of our people know it, the coaches know it, but not everybody knows all the things that you do for kids, not just Octorara kids, but just in general for basketball. So talk me through some of your thought process on you putting summer leagues together, on you putting fall leagues together, on you putting shootouts together. You played at a rec center. You organized that this fall. I mean, what's your thought process when you do this? I mean, it's a different thought process for coaches that want to do that for others. And you're,
Um,
of course, I mean, you're
I,
helping your kids too.
yeah, yes. And when I was younger, I was very I was blessed to have parents that raised me to not only just look at what we had, look at what others have, try and be very helpful to people. If you can do it, they can do it too. One of those things. And my family, a lot of teachers and stuff like that in it, where we're always in the service department to try and help others. So when I was playing in high school, I always was able to build relationships with other coaches. You know what I mean? And I always was able to communicate with adults to where, not that they were trying to recruit me, but when I was in high school, I was going to other teams' open gyms. You know what I mean? Because I had a good relationship with the coach, and hey, I want to play. We don't have open gym this day, and yeah, Gene, come on over. I would go to Great Valley. I
Mhm.
would go to Bishop Shanahan. I would go to different places in our league. Just to play with their kids.
Mhm.
And I became friends with them, and some of them are coaches, and just being able to remember that and how that helped me. My thing is always trying to bring people together, different teams, and not understand I'm not tooting my own horn, but I like to help people get games. People reach out to me all the time. Hey, Gene, do you know anybody that needs a game?
Mhm.
The game that is today, the Chester and the Lancaster Mennonite game. We're playing in a summer league down in Chester, and the Chester coach is there, and he says, "You know anybody that needs a game?" And I said, "Hold on," and I make a call to Jeff Hartenstein from Mennonite, and I said, "Jeff, Chester needs a game. Do you want to play?" He says, "Yeah, we'll play." And so, right there, and with La Academia and Chester, and different games that have happened between Chester County and Lancaster County schools, and even in the Harrisburg area, I know that I've had a part in that because I like to bring people together. It's not, like I said, not tooting a horn. It's just one of those things that I want to see what happens. I want to see what the outcome is. Because as you said, I've been fortunate enough to coach in both leagues,
Mhm.
and be a part of District 1 and be a part of District 3, so I consider them, both of them, my home, so why not watch a game where Chester's playing Lancaster Mennonite, where, and I know, Dale, in most worlds, that would never happen.
Correct. That's correct. You're absolutely correct there. And you know, that's kind of cool. Um, that brings me to something else in my head as we speak. So you've been around for a long time. How does the AAU affect some of what's going on? Not in a negative way, but when I see teams and I'll say so and so plays. It's like, oh yeah, I played him on the AAU team, or I played them in a tournament. And I just think I think players today see each other more. Am I wrong
Oh,
there?
no, no, there's a lot of familiarity. Yes,
And,
definitely.
and I think that makes for, I don't even know how to say, cleaner basketball. I mean, it just they teams seem to compete, but not get as edgy as they used to be. I don't know. Am I wrong there or not?
No, no, I think you're right. You know what I mean? I think because a lot of these kids, if you're one of the better kids, or if you're, you play for LA Elite, or you play for 717 Hoop Dreams, or you play for, all of the organizations that are here, CB Bolts, or you play for all the organizations that are in Lancaster County, you're seeing each other at tournaments, or you're playing on the same team,
Mhm.
so there is a relationship built there. It's not like that's the first time you're seeing a person, you know?
Yeah, and then you've had some really good players and really good guys that play in different AAU teams. I mean, you mentioned a bunch, so you have that connection. So let's go into a coaching question. As a coach, how do you deal with the kid that wants that exposure AAU, but you want to see him a little bit in the summer? I mean, how is that push pull, or do you just say go play AAU? I see you enough.
So, well, where I've been fortunate is, I've been able to coach some AAU myself, so I kind of use have my kids on my teams, or I get them on a team where I know their schedule, so that we can so that they'll be free when we play summer league,
Mhm.
Um we are uh in an age now where people have realized that parents will spend money on their kids.
Mhm.
And there's 50 million tournaments, there's 50 million AAU teams,
Mhm.
and it's kind of overkill, you
Mhm.
know. But I always try and find my kids the best place in order to be successful, And one of the things that I do, like you said, and we didn't mention it, was I always have a team in the Donofrio tournament down in Philadelphia.
From Philly, sure. Yeah.
And that's a place where I've had kids get scholarships walking out of there because they played well.
Yeah.
They play against all the best competition in Philadelphia, and another place that I build relationships.
Mhm.
And which are good for kids, because as you know, Dale, when I see a kid, if I see a kid that they can play,
Yeah.
as back in the days when you were coaching, Dale, that you had friends that coached in college, and if you saw a kid that could play, you were on the horn, whether he was your kid or someone else's kid. You know what I mean? You were on the horn and you were making a call saying, "Hey, I saw this kid play for Cocalico, and I think he's really good. I think that you might want to take a look at him."
Gene, you bring tears to my eyes because I was doing a Penn Live game with my buddy Bruce Bagley last night,
Uh-huh.
stream game, and I'm watching CV, and I'm there like, oh, I put my Elizabethtown College hat on. I said, you know what? That kid right there would be a perfect fit for that college. But I'm like, every once in a while, I don't get that like you do, but every once in a while, I'll get some contact, or I'll reach out to somebody I know, and I'm like, you know what, I think this kid can play, but
Yeah.
that's on you guys. It's got to be the right fit and all
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
money,
Without a doubt. Yep.
all
Yeah.
that stuff. But it's so funny you said that because that's what I was doing last night. As the game was going on, I'm watching one of the CV kids, and I'm like, okay, the kid's a junior. He's 6'2". He's left-handed. He can do some stuff. He's not
Yep.
super athletic, so he's probably not going Division II. But you know what? It's like I like his body build. He's not a skinny guy. He could probably step in and help. But
And,
anyway.
and and that's the world we're in. We have we as adults try and get opportunities for kids. That's my mantra. You know what I mean? Whether it be, I mean, I'm an Octorara guy. I love Octorara. I've been there my whole life, pretty much. But I always want to be able to help kids get opportunities, whether they're mine or anybody's, because that's how we, as the older generation, help the youth. That's the best I can say it.
I'm not even gonna touch that one, Gene. I'm not gonna say anything one way or the other. I don't want to put me in the grave, nor you, bud guy.
I got you. I got you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Hey, thank you for talking to us today. Merry Christmas. Congratulations on 300. I mean, I hope you stick around for 400, and maybe I'll write another book and stick your name in there for 400 coaches. So, you
Well,
know,
I appreciate that.
yeah. All right, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And Dale, I tell you, you and Andy and you guys do a fantastic job for the youth of our area. And I hope that they really realize how lucky we are.
It's been a long time, big guy. You talk about longevity. We're at year 24, which is to me, it's mind blowing.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
amazing.
and we keep,
Congratulations to
yeah,
you.
well, we keep trying to do different stuff and look for support, and we do it. We get through, and we're adding stuff. It's crazy, Gene. I've had two guys that joined us this year, and that's good. And we're looking to get a mobile app, and try to keep
Okay.
up with the world. So thank you for
Okay.
that. Good luck, big guy. We're gonna see you. Hopefully, we'll see you in the playoffs.
All right.
I'll come and visit with the fan backboards, and I think the next time I get there, your fan section will be a little bit bigger. I think the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
concert hurt you a little bit.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Yes. Yes.
like, usually that place packed over there. So we'll be down to visit. So
All
thank
right.
you, big guy. Good luck to you and your team.
Yep. Take it easy, Dale. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.